Hi Jaguars, this is the scoreboard job. Not to be confused with the statistics or stats. That'll be a job covered by somebody else. The scoreboard we're going to cover for both volleyball and basketball. Volleyball is actually pretty simple because there's no clock involved. Basketball is a little more complicated but very doable. The key for the scoreboard is that you need to be paying attention and you've got to stay engaged in the game and watch the official, okay? Don't get ahead of the official. The official is your key. Again, we're going to our handout, which is hanging, you're going to receive from oftentimes from the setup person, but if the setup person doesn't have it, get it out of the kitchen. And it says scoreboard operation direction, okay? What you're going to do is, this scoreboard should be set up for you, but I'm just going to quickly review how to set it up in case it's not. It's going to be pulled out of the storage closet, which again, it should be it's from the black cabinet in there. There are 3 components to the scoreboard. There's the control panel or control console itself. There's the black cord. 99% of the time, if something's not working, it's because the black cord is not plugged in right. It plugs into J1. Make sure you push it all the way in. The other end goes into the wall here, into the jack. Again, make sure it's pushed all the way in. And you need power. So you have the extension cord plugged into the wall, and then you've got to plug your unit into the extension cord. Once everything's plugged in, you're going to go to the power on, okay? Now when you turn the power on, nothing's going to happen up on the wall, but you're going to see here, the message says, resume game, question mark, okay? So you turn it on, it's asking you, do you want to resume game? And you're going to say yes or enter. That button is one and the same. It says resume, and you answer yes or enter. Once that happens, magically, the lights come on up there. Okay, you may not be able to see that from here, but the lights, both the score and the time went on. Okay, come back over here. So you're going to go to, then you're going to go to the board here, and you're going to do a couple things. You can figure this out on your own. It's pretty simple. The easiest thing to do is, for score, is +1 and -1. As you push plus, the numbers go up. As you push minus, the numbers go down. Okay? That's the simplest way to do it. You can do +2 and different things like that for the if it's there for the basketball, but I find it simple just to go +1 and +2. Oh, excuse me, +1 and just hit it twice instead of trying to mess with +2. If you accidentally give a basket to the wrong team, just subtract the points and give it to the correct team. Okay, it's clearly marked home and guess, so you can just plus and minus it accordingly, okay? So that's the score part of it. The clock is the next thing. So what you're going to do is, for our junior high sports, it's 6-minute quarters. For actually, we only play junior high in this gym. So if you're doing high school, you're going to be doing this at a different gym. Those happen to be 8-minute quarters. But for our quarters, they're 6-minute quarters. How do you set the clock? The way that you do that is you push the button, set main clock, which is right next to the start-stop button. Okay, so you say set main clock. Okay, then you actually push 6, and then you don't put point, but you get the 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. Okay, you do that because you have tenths of a second. And then you put enter. Okay? Now, both on the console here and up on the board, it says 6 minutes. So that's the beginning of your quarter. Then all you're going to do is hit start and stop. When you want to start the clock, you push start, and the time is counting down. You can see the tenths of a second. When you want to stop the clock, you push stop. So start, stop. It's a very simple toggle, okay? There's also a horn button on here. I won't do it because it's loud. If you have a substitute and the referee wants to use the horn, you can do that. For volleyball, all you need to do is use the score up and down. The referee sometimes, or the official, will ask you to put 1 minute on the clock for timeouts. Some referees like to do that, so if there's a timeout, they have you do 1 minute. For basketball, they won't do that. They'll keep the timeout themselves. But the 6 minutes, you set it for basketball, you set it for 6 minutes. I'm going to talk about a few things for basketball for those of you who haven't watched a lot of basketball so that you can figure that out. First of all, before we get to the clock, is possession arrow. What is the possession arrow? The possession arrow is basically an adult version of kindergarten sharing. Which that means is at the beginning of the game, and only at the beginning of the game, you have an actual jump ball where the official throws the ball up at a tip-off, I should say, and one team wins the jump ball. The team that wins the jump ball has the ball, obviously. Well, the possession arrow points is in the favor of the other team, in other words. After that, you basically switch the possession arrow every time there's a jump ball. So basically, if the official calls a jump ball, you want the arrow to be pointing towards the basket of that team that it's their turn, okay? It's not pointing towards that bench. So in other words, if the Jaguars are going that way, and it's their turn to have the possession arrow, you point the ball, the arrow towards their basket. Most people who know basketball know that, okay? When to start and stop the clock. Watch the official, okay? Don't get ahead of the official. Don't anticipate what's going to happen. Stopping the clock is easy. When the official blows the whistle, stop the clock. When do you start the whistle? When do you start the clock? Not when the ball is thrown in. The official, any out of bounds, he will raise one of his arms. Start the clock when he drops his arm. Now, why is that? Because if there is an inbounds, the clock does not start until a player touches the ball. That's why you'll often see a player might roll a ball in if there's only a couple seconds left, because the clock does not start until that official picks it up. Or if there's an inbound that goes out of bounds and no one ever touches it, the clock never starts. So don't start the clock when they pass it. Watch the official, and when he drops his arm, start the clock. Okay? Pretty simple. Start, stop the clock, and score. If you run into a problem, there are some notes here, and there may be some notes on the pad, but that is 99% of what happens. You also have a period button. You just keep pushing the periods for basketball. It's a button on here, and that will... you cannot go backwards on the period. If you happen to push a period or a quarter, then you just need to go all the way through the system to get it again. And that should be it. Thank you very much, and good luck in your first endeavor.